I can eat my dinner in a fancy restaurant, but I said nothing can take away these blues. 'Cause nothing compares to you. All right, how's it hanging, you wild animals? Welcome to episode 9 of Generation Bob podcast. That was fun. Got a little silly, got a little nutty up top. This is the podcast for people if you're born in the late 70s, early 80s, the micro generation that society forgot about. They shoved us down the cracks. They swept us under the rug. They tried to forget about us. And just like mold, we are popping up everywhere and ruining everything in sight. My name is Bob Hansen. This Saturday, if you're in Astoria, Queens, in New York City, you want to go to QED Stand-Up Comedy. It's a free show at 11 o'clock. Come down to QED in Astoria. It's close to the last stop on the train, provided the train is working. Don't worry about it. Queens, Astoria, come on out. The show's called Laughter Hours. It's absolutely tremendous. Funny individuals. We got Julie Katakis, who you might know as Madge DeVag from ScaryMommy.com, Gaster Alamanti from Comedy Central's This Is Not Happening. I'm going to be hosting a bad boy. It's going to get bananas. We're going to jump off the walls, bounce off the ceiling, piss and blood and bleeding piss. There's no stopping us. We got hooligans on the up and up. We got jokers cracking wise. We got Weisenheimers on the straight and narrow and games flipping their lids. It's the bottom of the ninth. The bases are loaded. 2 strikes, 2 outs. What do you say? What do you know? It's a scorch out there, and the Brooklyn Dodgers win the series 23 skidoo. Ban up their fucking jokes. 11 o'clock QED this Saturday. You want to be there November 3rd. It might be hard to hold the candle in the cold November rain, but it's not hard to see good stand-up comedy in Astoria, Queens. Alrighty, folks. This is episode 9. No Generation Bob topic this week. I just want to talk about a little bit of wrestling. Just a wrestling episode. So if that's not your thing, this episode is not for you. But last night, we had the first ever all-women's WWE pay-per-view Evolution. I watched this bad boy, and wow. Front to back, absolutely tremendous. The action was really, really good. I like the way the nostalgia was used, but not overused. A lot of people are critical of this show. They're saying it's an overcompensation for the Saudi Arabia mess that is happening this Friday. I'm not interested in getting into the Crown Jewel stuff, really. I'm going to be not watching Crown Jewel out of protest, so I'll have to not see Shawn Michaels make his comeback. But if you saw the Australia show, he took 98 bumps and did his move 100 times anyway. So it's kind of like he did a match already. So it is what it is, you know. I mean, don't watch it or don't. I'm not going to cancel my subscription because, god damn it, I love NXT. I love the new UK show. I love the Mae Young tournament. This year is better than last year's, and I touched on that why last week. And last night on the WWE Network, for only $9.99 a month with no commitment, free for the first month of all subscribers, an extensive library featuring all your favorite WWE superstars, past and present. You get the WWE Network, also free. Get the WWE Network, the app on your mobile device, and you can watch WWE Network anytime you want on your mobile device. WWE on the go all the time. It's a great deal. Okie doke, folks. WWE Evolution. Let's talk about this bad boy. Right away, I did hear the criticism. People said that the lights were turned down in the arena, so you couldn't see the fans. I love the feel of it. It almost had that old MSG house show feel. But I guess reports are that not all the seats were filled in the Nassau Coliseum in Long Island City, so they had to turn the lights down and hide the fact. That report is false. Turns out a lot of the reason those seats were empty is not because there weren't enough tickets sold, but because many of the fans who went to that show all went to the bathroom in large groups. Okay. I made a fucking joke. Alright, it's a joke. Listen. I watched the thing. I've been ridiculously supportive of the women's division for a couple of years. You make the jokes because you got to make the jokes, and people got to make the fucking jokes. What am I kidding, man? Jesus Christ, man. Like, what am I supposed to do with all these young girls on TV, man? I'm not going to have intercourse, with any of them. Like, the only thing I could hit for an hour is the snooze button. Come on, those are the jokes. All right, are you kidding me? At my age, you give me a break, man. My balls are hanging so low, sparks fly when I walk. Come on with the jokes. All right, there you go, kids. All right. Let's talk about the pay-per-view. Let's do the positives first, because there's mostly positives. Let's do them. We'll go a little bit in order. First of all, Trish Stratus in the opening tag, Trish and Lita versus Mickey and Alicia. Of course, Alexa's injured. She's on the outside. Lillian Garcia is announcing. Before that was the Nina Strauss chick, played the guitar and her band and everything, and they were fun and tremendous. That was a good time. Trish Stratus has not lost a step. And Trish Stratus has not lost a step. Trish was good, man. She was crisp, and if she wanted to, and they wanted her to, I guess if the timing or whatever the circumstance was right, I don't see why she couldn't have one of those 3 or 4 month nostalgia runs that Jericho has done so well. I mean, if all the pieces were fitting, I don't see why not. No, Lita was good. I mean, she always had a little bit of a gumbiness to the way she wrestled, but people just adore her. And she hit the big finish, the moonsault on both Mickey and Alicia. She hit what counts. And the people, what made this show so awesome, holy balls, the people were so live for this thing. They were so fired up. Even if there were empty seats, I have no idea what the Nassau County Coliseum holds. I don't know, 15,000, 16,000. I think they all, I don't know. But if seats were empty, you couldn't tell because the thing was loud as all hell. So I love the feel. And it didn't look... That's the thing. I think they have this misconception that, if they can't see the crowd, the thing is going to feel empty and dark and too much like wrestling. I think it feels bigger than it actually is, almost like you're going out into the abyss as long as the crowd is live and crazy, and they were. So really, I thought it almost worked to the advantage where the crowd made it sound like there were more people than there actually were. So I don't understand. I got the sniffles. What are you going to do? That'll teach me, You gotta roll with the punches, man. Burn the candle at both ends, burn the midnight oil, punching the clock, passing the buck, working hard, or hardly working, or it's bananas, brother. We're doing a thing. That was a good match. I know there was a wacky moment where Alicia was a little late to break up the pin, and you could clearly see Mickey yell, "Foxy," and get her over there. Shit happens. What are you gonna do? I thought it was absolutely tremendous, but what I really thought was impressive was the match after this. Because a battle royal, especially in one of these, what clearly looks like a get 'em on the show battle royal. Is this still recording? Are we recording? No, we're recording. Okay, I froze for a little bit of a second there. Sometimes it happens, man. Like a deer in the headlights, baby. And then you just get the heart pumping. You get the blood boiling like a runaway freight train, man. Rubbing salt on the fire. Though I screwed up. I can't keep the gibberish up all day, guys. Just being the best Bob I can be is all I'm doing. The battle royals traditionally aren't supposed to be good. And this one was. This is a really entertaining match, and that's the thing. They just kept it entertaining. Everybody did their spots. The Iconics kicked it off by trashing everybody, and they got thrown out. And I love the Iconics, but I don't have a problem with them getting thrown out up top because it makes sense. They talked all this shit. The other 18 of them or whatever ganged up and threw them out, and they don't look weak or inept or whatever. They just look like they were being heels. They were too big for their britches, and they ran their mouths and they paid for it. So I don't see the problem there. Sonya Deville, who I adore, got tossed out of the ring by Mandy Rose. I don't know if to do a split, but Sonya and Mandy, mostly Sonya, but both showed a lot of personality on that ride-along show on the network. They were just silly and goofy and singing songs about donuts and just being ridiculous. They're actually, my boss brought in donuts at the office today. And people always at work, they love to not talk, pretend they're not eating the donuts that they're clearly eating because the donuts are disappearing. I guess you could say it's donuts don't tell policy. I did it again. I keep making a fucking jokes. Oh my god. No, office jobs, please. Hey, give it up for giving up. There's off. Okay, dokie, folks. Yeah, Sonya's reaction to getting thrown out by Mandy was awesome, and people reacted. That's the thing, they cared. Sometimes that's the thing when you break up or tease the breakup of, whatever, an undercard act or you're not your top priority type of wrestlers, superstars. What happens is, when you break them up, no one cares. They have to care about the team to begin with, but people seem to react to that teasing of just a breakup, and that wasn't even a major part of the Battle Royal. It just goes to show you, like, traditionally they got I think they've been hung up for so long on the smart fans versus the traditional fans, or the casual fans, or versus the internet fans, which are really just two sides. This was almost like a third category. I guess you can call them the woke fans, more progressive than progressive, which was But they made the show, man. They made the show. Not to discredit the performers, because, God damn it, they're the ones taking the abuse and all the pressure's on them. But yeah, these fans, they were ready for the ride. And thankfully, the thing was 3 hours and 20 minutes and didn't even feel like it, because these things have been breaking 4 hours for too long. Back to the Battle Royal. I love Carmella. I love the 7-second dance break, and Ivory did it with her. And for whatever reason, it worked, and it shouldn't have worked, and it did work. Carmella is so charismatic because it's so hard to be. I'm gonna get in trouble for this. When you're that hot, it's hard to be funny sometimes and distract from the hotness. And Carmella has a charisma where she pulls it off, and it's so hard to do. And Ivory just went with her every step of the way. And I forget which, maybe one of them threw out the other one, of course. That always happens. I really don't remember. But I think in the end, Alundra Blaze was in there, which was really interesting to see, because she's well into her 50s by now. But I thought she looked great. Like Kelly, I think, was in there. Was there something Tori Wilson was backstage but not in the Battle Royal? Did somebody said that? I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know what the situation is there, but Nia Jax does win the thing. She tosses out Ember Moon. Asuka was not victorious. That's okay. I never counted Battle Royals as losses. I don't get it. She's undefeated. You can't lose. Everybody loses the Battle Royal. The Battle Royal, just like Money in the Bank, it's not or the Rumble. It's not a match that you lose. It's a match that you just don't win. So I never really got that. But we're splitting hairs here. After that, I believe was the 6-woman tag. Yeah, it was Natalya and Sasha and Bayley versus the Riot Squad. What I loved about this match was not only did it get more time than you'd think it would have, because it looks like a filler match from the on paper. This match did way the hell better than you'd think it would. If it was on Raw, I mean, still, it would have been like a 3-minute cluster and everything. They were given time to take their time and show you that the Riot Squad, they just can't stop cheating and being obnoxious. And you have the veteran Natalya and the two younger stars, Sasha and Bayley, trying to get their stuff together and keep making a comeback against these cheating heels. Classic wrestling story, and it worked. They just got the time to take it. I think a lot of these. Sometimes the women have this problem more than the men. They get stuck more in these, get them all on the show matches, and they all rush through their finishes, and it becomes such clusters. And this one could have easily been one under a different circumstance, and it was just awesome. Natalya looked very strong. She did a double sharpshooter on Ruby Riott, and I think, oh God, Sarah Logan? I forget her name. And somebody got the pin on Liv. I think Sasha did. Yeah, Sasha did the frog splash and pinned Liv. Sasha is sometimes to her own detriment. She just bumps so hard and takes such a beating because she's so tough. But she's going to end her own career making people look good. I loved Natalya had to be on this show and not in the Battle Royal. I would have really hated that. I really felt Natalya should have had some kind of singles match for whatever reason, but they did what they can do. And hey, you know what? The faces celebrated. This was the part of the show, though. Sorry, for me. Now one of the lowlights is starting, because I noticed this by the time we got to the commentary of the Riot Squad versus Team Natalya match or whatever, the announcers are baby facing everybody, and I didn't like it. I know it's historic. It's the first women's pay-per-view. Sorry, I get it, but it's hurting the show. It's hurting the enjoyment of the show to talk about. Okay, Ruby Riott's going to be champion one day. That's fine, but it felt like every single woman, especially the heels, are being built up to be like good people. And no, they're not. They're the heels. Like, I know they're good people in real life. I don't care. I don't care about that. I'm watching the show. And I think they overdid it. It comes back to what I was saying last week about, I'm sorry, guys. I don't like Beth Phoenix's commentary at all. It's just it's very preachy and sanctimonious, and I'm already watching the women's pay-per-view. I was looking forward to it all week, and I'm not watching Saudi Arabia. You've won me to your side. Oh, I'm with you, but you stop shoving it down my throat. I understand. It's historic. The women can do probably at basically the best show of the year, and I think the match of the year came later, honestly, so far in 2018. I'm with you. You don't got to shove it down my throat every 8 seconds. I'm sold. I'm watching the show. I watched all the Mae Young, and I'm right with you. So that got irritating, and it didn't stop for a while until 2 matches later. But speaking of Mae Young, hey, look at me, Captain Segway over there. Toni Storm defeated, oh God, I forgot her name. Io Shirai. Toni Storm defeated her. This match was very good, very hard hitting, and I think Toni Storm, like I said last week, is an awesome babyface. She's got the fire when she makes a comeback. She sells, awesome athleticism, charismatic. People like her. I really think this match needed a heel. I didn't like two faces going head-to-head for this, especially with an audience who may not be as into the network and Mae Young tournaments and all that kind of stuff. A lot of people in the audience, it did sound a little bit quieter. I don't think they had as much invested as this as they did in the other matches. There might maybe, I don't know, because the lights were out. Maybe there are a lot of little kids there that are still more into Naomi and feeling the glow and this, that, and the other thing, which is awesome. But I think maybe you could kind of see where the network thing. Sorry, guys, I'm playing with my levels again a little bit here. But Toni won it, and she should have. And there was a big celebration of flowers at the end and everything else. This match was not as long as the past Mae Young tournament matches. Again, it just needed a heel. It needed some heat. And we can't just have it. Now the announcers have to babyface both wrestlers because they're both babyfaces. So, Jesus Christ. So they might have been running out of stuff to say, too. Maybe that's why it got so repetitive and I'm being hard on them. But at this point of the show, once Toni Storm won, I went, great. I'm happy for her. I would have rather seen her in there with Rhea Ripley just because somebody in the match needed to be an asshole. But thankfully, right as I start going, someone needs to be an asshole, we have Shayna Baszler versus Kairi Sane. And Shayna Baszler was an asshole, and God bless her. Oh, she was great. Just a dirty heel. She's mad about being upset by someone who she feels is beneath her. Kairi couldn't be more of an underdog and, a scrappy underdog, if you will. Finally, Shayna's, her UFC buddies, her MMA buddies, I can't think of their names. It's not going to happen. They interfered, and they helped Shayna get the Duke and become the first ever second-time NXT Women's Champion. So, and it was nice to finally hear the announcers going, hey, we don't like so-and-so's character. Like, oh, good, you gave me a reason to care who wins. Thank you. It only took an hour and a half. I cared anyway, but it was almost like, at times I wanted to watch the show with the sound off. I'm like, it's like you ever watch a movie that you think's pretty good, but you're sitting next to someone who's already seen it 5 times, and it's their favorite movie, and you like it just fine, but they're like, and watch this. Oh, he's going to say this. You just say this. I felt like that's how I was watching it. Like if someone had to watch The Big Lebowski with me, and I was pointing it all out, that's how I would be like, oh, not a golfer, get it? Because it's a bowling ball. Waka waka. So that's how it felt. What was after? I think after that is just Last Woman Standing. I think we went right to the bad boy. If I'm forgetting something, shit happens. I forgot something. This is free. What do you want from me? Last Woman Standing match. I called it before. I'm saying it one more time. So far, 2018 match of the year, past all expectations. It was violent. It was a blood feud. They showed the video package. I don't even think they needed the spear through the grates on SmackDown. That didn't even matter. It wasn't important. How much these women, according to the package and the promos and all the other events they did leading up to it, the PC Center attack and all that crap, it made you just feel these former friends just hated each other. And it was about the title, but they didn't just both want to be SmackDown Women's Champion. They both wanted to be SmackDown Women's Champion so they could take it away from the other one and make them hurt on the inside as well. That's a feud, man, and I felt it, and I loved every single second of it. I love the close-ups on both women showing the welts and the bruises and everything else. At one point, Charlotte was wailing away with Becky with that kendo stick, and she was so close to the fans' heads. I was a little like, yikes, easy. But whatever, it worked out well. Charlotte, at one point also, Charlotte, they did the spot. This is a standard last person. Cole had to call it a last person standing match once. Yeah, this is a standard spot in these matches now. One person has to be buried under a bunch of desk chairs and crap, and that always teases the finish, and it never is. And Charlotte was the one who got buried under all the stuff. And at one point, the referee, he stops after the count of 9, and Charlotte's knee is still clearly down. And everyone sees it because they have the big screens now up top. And unfortunately, everybody kind of booed. They knew that was kind of a fucked finish there. But, I mean, they went through so much. I mean, I was surprised she could stand at all. So eventually Becky does win the thing with a big power bomb through a table, from the top turnbuckle. I think she's on the apron. Excuse me. She takes her down. And Becky just pretty much won the thing clean. She wrestled heel-ish the whole time, just to give her enough of that bragging rights, but to give the Becky's loyal fan base enough vindication, if you will. Is my thing still going? I don't know if my thing is still going. My levels. Everything's falling apart. The computer is freezing. I have no idea if you're catching all of this. And you're probably good. Oh, Charlotte stumbled. She was trying to do like a figure 4 around rungs of the ladder for a little bit. And but it ended up working out well. Everything they did just looked so painful and so malicious with intent. I loved all of it. I loved the million chairs in the ring and the suplexes onto them and all that great stuff. So violent. What else was going on in that match? Nothing else. It was just absolutely outstanding. Nothing was following it. We knew this going into it. They're going to put fucking Nikki and Ronda last, so it can be a clip on Total Divas, but it could be a clip on Total Divas anywhere on the card. But for some reason, Ronda's a star. Okay, I get it. We could put last, but it doesn't matter because you're going to show chunks and still pictures and replays on both shows anyway, and just say it was the main event. Like it doesn't really matter. That I don't understand why nothing was following the last woman standing. Nothing was. I don't even think a pay-per-view is following that right now. I'm going to say this about Charlotte before we move on. I'll do that at the main event. I'll wrap this up soon. For those people out online saying, "Oh, Charlotte, she's better as a heel. I don't like her as a face. She's better as a heel." She sells so awesome. Let her be a babyface for a bit. And because I still don't think the crowd hates her. I think they just love Becky so much that they're going to turn on whoever. And they do see a little bit of favoritism towards Charlotte because of the name. So they're going to be right back with Charlotte as soon as she gets a different opponent. They're going to love Charlotte again. I'm saying that right now. And this is the day after the Evolution pay-per-view, October 29th. Charlotte, whoever she wrestles next, if it's not Becky, is going to get cheered again, especially after that match. That's happening. I'm saying that now. She sells awesome. She makes a fiery comeback. When she gets up and has that pissed off face, I'm going to kill you after all these bad things you've done to me. It's believable, and she's not afraid, and I mean this in a very nicest way. She's not afraid to get ugly or make an ugly face, you know what I mean? She's very hot, obviously, but I'm just saying she's not afraid to not be hot for a second. She's not, it's about being a badass and kicking so-and-so's ass right now, and I love it. She had half a big fake eyelash, half an eyelash hanging off, which she probably didn't even know about, as right after the match, and it helped. Everything worked. She was so banged up and battered up. She took such a beating for Becky. So for everyone who, if you're dumb enough to really think Charlotte's holding Becky down, she's getting her ass kicked and losing clean for Becky to be a bigger superstar. So get those stupid thoughts out of your head. All right, I'm a student of Alpha the Wild Samoan. God damn it, I was a tag team champion during 9/11. You know what kind of responsibility that is? The community looks for their nearest tag team champion in times of turmoil, and that was me. And whether I was ready or not, I had to step up to the plate. It was 9/11. I was a tag team champion. Your main event is Ronda Rousey versus Nikki Bella. I still don't believe, and I didn't believe during any of this, that Nikki Bella was ever a credible opponent for Ronda Rousey. It was kind of silly. It did feel like these clips will work well on Total Divas. Maybe I went into it with a negative attitude. I always thought Bree's performance on the mic was extremely wooden, and Nikki's was never that much better. I just wasn't. I mean, they both did a very good job of having the best match they can have, and actually had a pretty good match. It would have been an awesome Raw main event. I didn't think it was that great of an Evolution main event. And again, nothing was following Becky and Charlotte. I don't understand that. But they did it, and Ronda does do an awesome thing. She has both of them on a Samoan drop position and does that wacky angle slamish thing. But I don't know. I guess Ronda needed an opponent for this thing. And Ronda wins with the armbar. She taps her out, and that was the end of that. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't bad. It was very good. I just don't have a lot, not a lot to say about it. Nikki, you can see Nikki calling some spots out there. She was calling more spots than a Dalmatian trainer. Jokes. But it had to be done. I mean, Ronda still has to be talked to. You could see it when she would the 2 times she wrestled Alexa as well. You can see Alexa, walking her through it. And I think that's why Nikki was still a very good opponent for Ronda, because, Nikki understands the WWE style better than any of them and knows where they have to be at what times. And it looked to me like she was getting Ronda in the right spots at the right times and steering that bad boy. So, hey, congratulations to Nikki Bella. She really did do an awesome job. Unfortunately, it just wasn't a match that really, tickled my fancy, I think. Because before, it wasn't just the athleticism of the Charlotte-Becky match. It was the intensity of this blood feud, which was much going on for a few more months, versus Ronda and Nikki. Felt like a very, very forced, we need to have this match to pay-per-view. How can we make sure it happens? One of those kind of deals. Here's a big negative. They do this every fucking time. Good God. They have the big curtain call at the end. Every single woman on the show comes out to celebrate and smile and hug. Charlotte is supposed to be dead, and she's out there just smiling away, ear to ear, big toothy grin, so happy to be on the Evolution show. Ronda's out there too, and all the women should be mad at her, and they're really not. I think Becky, a friend of Brian Yang, my buddy, he sent me a picture, of Becky Lynch coming out after the whole thing was over. After they were off the air, and she held up her title as well. I'm glad they didn't air it with her standing a foot away from Charlotte and being just happy to be there. I hate doing this. They did it with the Rumble and the Chamber announcements and the whatever it was, and the announcements for this show. Like, you're just pissing on all their characters. Like, why would you just... It means more if you just let them keep their thing intact. But no, we have to open the show with Stephanie McMahon's voice and close the show with Stephanie McMahon's image. And you could see Triple H in the last 3 seconds standing behind all the women and then walk around to the side so he can stand in front of the women. So the first and last thing we see is Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. How did Triple H close WWE Evolution First Women's Pay-Per-View? We found a way. We always find a way to do this. It didn't need to be done. It wasn't necessary. None of them needed to do that. We can just celebrate. Ronda's the champ. Very good. If Becky Lynch continues to tease Ronda Rousey on social media like that's a match they're going to have, great. Maybe Becky could have held that title up in the rampway at the end. No, scratch that. It's not a good idea, because they were setting up Nia and Ronda, and Nia was watching her on TV. That was great. It could have ended there, or during the Ronda celebration, you cut to Nia with the TV, and again, this kills me on wrestling. She should be watching herself watching TV. Why isn't she looking at her own back? I hate it when they never do that. And then you go back to Ronda, celebrate, yay. Maybe a few of the Raw baby faces come out and hold her up and blah, 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 blah. Who the fuck cares? But that's what they did. So they just pissed on all the characters so we can give Stephanie McMahon and Triple H credit for all this. Especially Becky and Charlotte should have been standing nowhere near each other. I don't like it. It just tells me WWE, WWE doesn't really get it. They know it. They know that we're buying it, but they don't actually get it. The show, it's patronizing to them. It's giving them a pat on the back. That's the participation trophy. Not giving them the show, or the matches, or the time, or the spotlight. The participation trophy is when you piss on all their characters at the end of it and say, it's almost like you're saying, look at them for putting on a show just like the guys do, but the guys is real because they stay hateful of each other. You don't get it. I'm sick of seeing that shit. You could have ended with ding ding ding, Ronda wins, confetti, Nia watches TV.